Noisy pixel.
The Desktop Explorer is not a name that tells you too much about what you're in for. Recurring Dream's debut title, named in a way that suggests a file browser, is one I was immediately taken with. Any game where the setting is a highly limited environment, such as a single room or within a computer screen, I always find very interesting. And this title is a psychological horror mystery set entirely inside a Windows 95-esque PC, a nostalgia hit, and a horror mystery game. Sounds great.
Noisy pixel.
In Desktop Explorer, you play as a young woman who has recently inherited an old desktop computer from her beloved Uncle Hal. Said uncle has an illness that has been impacting his memory. His lucid moments are now few and far between. In one of them, however, he remembered enough to leave her this computer, which contains some very important information connected to the disappearance of someone he cares about. There are also journal entries on it, from when Hal was more lucid, but they're not all immediately present. They're hidden around and tucked away in various parts of the computer. Whilst there is a mysterious program called Desktop Explorer which can help locate them, it creates puzzles to do so, which doesn't give the impression it has your best interests at heart. Or should I say source code? It's a program, so heart doesn't quite work. Anyway, loosely hosted by the Clippy style assistant and notebook themed character Pizarro, these puzzles are the core of your progression and the time you'll spend playing, taking a multitude of forms. They primarily use the in-game program's Storyteller, a word processor that has backgrounds and lets one apply fancy effects to the text or hide phrases in the source code, and NotePage, which is just Notepad, alongside various images to construct a narrative for a puzzle you need to solve and find a password to progress. What you need actually to do could be anything, as the game utilizes everything you could imagine in this brain-teasing adventure. Sometimes you need to check for hidden files, use a filter program to scan an image for clues, smush photos together like jigsaw pieces, manipulate the clock, or even look at cached Web 1.0 styled web browser pages. If you were like me and lived on a Windows 95 computer for some of your life, you will also find some of the ways the game presents itself highly nostalgic in wacky and wonderful ways that will trigger a cheer. Just looking at the old screensavers again adds to the atmosphere, and finding out sometimes they're key to a puzzle is wonderful. The atmosphere really is one of the areas where the game excels the most. Diegetic music, hard grey borders, mechanical keyboard sounds, compressed audio, fantastic screen filters, and shaders that make the game look like $1 million despite only being a single gigabyte. You might look at the starting locales and go, "What are you talking about?" But as you unlock more and more games and tools, including the Toontown reminiscent next rooms with 3D avatars, it looks pretty impressive. When you reach the second act, you'll reach a profile of a girl named Maxine who was really into a band called The Sweaters. This fictional band has one song that plays in the credits and gets remixed a few times during the game with a strong grungy shoegaze feel, and I adore it. The soundtrack is a real highlight as it swaps between pieces depending on the open windows, and it feels like there's a whole lot of variations for different puzzles. But special mention goes to the tracks that play when you're reading through the digital journal, the chronologue. The diary entries don't just provide new character background for you to think and mull over, but the somber music turns it into quiet, poignant moments. It provides that downtime between puzzles so you aren't constantly swamped in new information. There's something so poignant about going through the textual memories of someone you don't know seemingly long after they're gone, and finding out how that led to some life-changing events whilst being a distinct outsider to it is always a very interesting feeling. It's also why I enjoyed games like No Case Should Remain Unsolved, The Outer Wilds, or The Boot Trees Are Dead. The linear progression of puzzles and chronological entry unlocks also means that despite the amount of game that has puzzle knowledge checks, finding out everything won't make the game unreplayable. The storytelling is put together in a fun way in which you'll be able to notice various pieces of foreshadowing in advance, and you can make a mockery of Pizarro as you do so. Desktop Explorer is a phenomenal game that I highly enjoyed my time with. The best way to play, in my opinion, is to bring along a friend to experience the game together. Puzzles are always best like that, especially if you want to take advantage of the whole nostalgia hit. Even if you can't, the way the game presents its compelling narrative is a whole lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching Cozy Pixels Group, dedicated to bringing you guys the best news reviews, previews, and more. Please stick around by like, comment, subscribing, all that jazz, and ringing the bell to stay up to date on all of our future content. And also sub to our Patreon for free to get yourself a fancy magazine each month. Like, you know you want that, right? Like, we push this enough, we get ourselves proper ass magazine. You want that, right? You want that, Matt? You want that, right? God, that's so fucking snitch.
Noisy Pixel.